Hi there, Simon from simonwood.com. Getting close to Christmas now, although by the time I get around to processing this and getting it up on the website, I have a feeling the January sales will already be upon us. But no cut price wines here, or are there? Let's have a look. I've got 3 Australians, a Californian and a wine from Bulgaria in Tuscany. Let's just set in. Wakefield, I've got a couple of wines from them. Wakefield Clair Valley, one of the stalwarts of the Clair Valley, known as Taylors in Australia. So this is 2009 Clair Valley Merlot. Australia's had a bit of a checkered history with Merlot. Can't think of too many wines that really frapped my boutons and had me jumping up and down and going wahoo, but let's see whether this is one of them. Typical Aussie. I mean, there's this robust berry fruit with what I call this pippy edge, and there's that slightly smoky sheen of vanilla from American oak. I think there's a bit of French oak there as well. But it smells like it's going to be hearty, round, rich. Sometimes I find that Australian Merlot has this slightly mixture of overripe and underripe. Don't find that here. It smells like it's going to be rounded and complete, but on the simple side. Let's give it a whirl. Perfectly decent, ever so slightly jammy, very ripe, ruddy plum and berry, but simple. Yeah, I mean, I don't find any. Sometimes I like Merlot. Well, usually I like Merlot with a little bit of leafy greenness in there, and there it's on that ripe side, not gone too far into the jammy, but it's just a little bit simple, hearty, honest, simple. Hey, let's move on and see whether this one is simple. Hopefully it won't be. It's La Serra Nueve del Ornellaia. So it's the second wine of the famous Ornellaia in Bulgaria, in Tuscany. And yes, okay, it's Tuscany, but this is where they do Bordeaux blends, based on Bordeaux variety. So I think this is more than half Merlot, and then Cabernet, the 2 Cabernets and a bit of Petit Verdot in there. And this is a much more calm, relaxed, confident wine. It's got this that edge of pencil shavings that people talk about in Bordeaux. You can almost feel a bit of the earthiness, the gravel edge of the soil. I can't remember whether there's gravel in their particular vineyards, but there's that there's something going on there that makes you think it's going to be a wine that's not only got flavour, it's got a bit of texture, got a bit of bite, and a bit of savoury complexity. It smells really good, and also it smells as if it's still got lots to give. I mean, pretty young wine. It's young, punchy wine. Yes, it's weird because it smells like it's going to be quite laid back, but then when you come to taste it, it's actually got a lot of ripeness and power. If I've got a problem with it at the moment, it almost feels like they've done a slightly bit of over extraction, so you're left with something where you can feel that, what I call that dry, slightly hard skinniness of grape skins that have just been pressed that little bit too much. It may be that as the rest of the wine opens up, the flavours fill out that structure. But at the moment, it's one of those I'm not quite sure about. Certainly prefer it to the Wakefield, but is it good or is it great? I think I'll have to wait to find out, and I will report back. Next one, we're in California now, and in Napa Valley to be precise, for Panamera. Got a nice picture of a bear on the label. So Cuvee Napa. And I've got a feeling that I think Cabernet Sauvignon is the dominant grape here, but there's also some, I think there's some Merlot, but I also think there's some Syrah and some Zinfandel in here too. But let's see if I can find any of those more spicy characters alongside the more classic Napa flavours. Well, there is a bit of brambly richness, certainly some licorice in here, and I get this touch of what I call a rubbery oak. It reminds me of the bottom of old-fashioned plimsolls. Do they still do black plimsolls? Oh, I don't know, but there's that character. And it's weird because it does feel like it's the Zinfandel or one of those warmer, spicier grapes that's having more of a say in what the wine smells of at the moment. Let's taste it and see how we get on. Not sure about that, but there's this dusty vanilla character that is really dominating the wine. And the finish I'm left with is slightly cloying and sweet, almost as if someone's well, if you're making fudge and a bit of it drops on the surface of the counter and then you scoop it off later. A bit too much of that vanilla. Yes, there is some fruit coming through, but it's more these other things, and I just wonder with a wine like that, why do you need oak? It doesn't seem to be a wine that people are supposed to keep for any length of time, and I think the oak muddies the fruit flavours. Not convinced about that one. Let's see how we are with the second Wakefield one. This is their 2009 Cabernet. Yeah, and it's strange this compared with the Merlot. The Merlot is like old-fashioned Australian wine. This is... it's got some freshness about it. Clair Valley, sometimes the Cabernets can have this minty edge, and there is a little bit of that mintiness in there. But most of all, the thing that's coming through is this fresh dark fruit character, not muddied by oak in the way that maybe the Merlot was, and I've got a feeling that it's probably exactly the same or similar oak regime, but here the fruit has got more gravitas about it. It feels like it's going to be a more interesting, also more serious and concentrated wine. Good, juicy, hearty glug. It's got tannin. It's got some of that chewiness that I want in a wine. I don't want something that's just smooth, like listening to Cliff Richard. I want something that's got a bit of bite and personality, and I get that here. I get the black currants, and the black currants with a little bit of that black currant skin character, that maybe the sort of skinniness I was talking about with the Serra Nueve. But here it's this just juicy, rounded, bear hug-like flesh. But it's not too big a wine. It's a bear hug that maybe a baby bear hug. I like that. Yep. Let's see how we get on with the final one. Lewin Estate. So we're going from Clair Valley in South Australia way over to Western Australia. And this is a famous estate, Lewin, and their Art Series Cabernet 2006. So quite a bit older than the rest of the wines. Two things I notice here. First of all, the Lewin's 3 years older than the Wakefield, but doesn't smell like it's going to be. It doesn't smell like an older wine. It's still got quite a lot of black currant freshness there. Second thing is Margaret River's a cooler region and than Clair Valley, so I get a touch of leafy, almost verging. It's that bit where herbal meets herbaceous. I don't want to have too many celery flavours and unripe green pepper characters in my wine. Here it really is just on the edge, and I'm not sure whether 2006 was a cool region, cool vintage for Margaret River, but it just feels like it's treading that tightrope ever so slightly, almost too close for comfort. I wouldn't be surprised if that character stayed the same level throughout as the wine grows up in the glass, in the bottle, or wherever, and the rest of the wine overtakes it. But at the moment, it's a bit on that green side. But it might be different when I taste it. Let's try. Well, I love the texture there. There's a fine. I was talking about almost like a gravelly edge on the Serra Nueve. There's almost some of that character here. But still there's that little bit of greenness in the background, and the fruit flavour's intense but maybe on the simple side. I almost wish that they'd plant a little bit of something in there to round out some of the it's not a hollow wine, but it feels like there are a few bits that could have done with a little bit of bolstering. Not something that takes centre stage, but just something that highlights that lovely leafy blackcurrant cedary freshness of the Cabernet fruit. So, two minds about that, two minds about the Serra Nueve. Those are probably the wines that I'll end up drinking tonight, but in terms of personal charm and really nice immediate glugability, the Wakefield Cabernet has done a pretty good job. I'm going to reassess some of these later, so I will report back. Otherwise, see you soon.